It's Mo. As you will have seen from other videos, I lost a bunch of footage. I lost a bunch of ends of videos. I mean, maybe 6 ends of videos and then 3 or 4 entire videos. One of the entire video that I recently lost to my own negligence probably was my end of year TBR. So I decided I wanted to do an end of year TBR that I wanted to start kind of in the beginning of November, and I picked out 12 books to put on this end of year TBR. 6 of those books were from my 2022 haul revisits. So throughout 2024, I've been looking back at my 2022 book hauls. That was the first and only year so far that I have done book hauls consistently every month. And so I looked back, I have been looking back every month to see the books in those hauls, to see if I've read those books, to see what books I want to prioritize, and I've been making a priority read list. So the first 6 books are off of that. The second 6 books, we'll call them 6 books, are not off of that. They are different, and they are a collection of things which we will talk to when we get there. So I've already made this video, so I don't remember what I said. We're just gonna do it again. Luckily, the pile that I made still exists for this video, so I can pull them off there. The first book off of my 2022 book haul revisits priority list is Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey. I got this book at my local used bookstore, the closest one to me. Well, it's not anymore actually. We got a new used bookstore, but this is the Asbury Park Book Co-op, which I really love, and I have been wanting to read this one. It's wintry. It's following a woman in kind of a near future where climate change has increased, and she is studying the last migration of terns. So I think this would be a good one to read in the winter. Next, I have NP by Banana Yoshimoto. I have no idea what this one's about, but I've read 3 Banana Yoshimoto books so far, and I really enjoyed them. I've had this one on my list since 2022, so I want to get to that one. The next book on my end of year TBR is Jennifer Egan's A Visit from the Goon Squad. This book I picked up in 2022, but it's also one of the few books that I have from the New York Times Best 100 Books of the 21st Century so far list, and I've been slightly doing a small video where I read some of those, so I want to get to this one before the end of the year. Thousand Cranes by Yasunori Kawabata has been on a bunch of lists so far. It's so short. I've read a couple of Yasunori Kawabata's already. I really enjoyed them, so I definitely want to get to this one. The Last House on Neela Street is one that I picked up partly because I was super interested in Catriona Ward, partly because I was really interested in Sundial the year that I picked this one up. But since then I have read Sundial. It was Banana Pants. I did enjoy my time with it, so I should definitely get to this one, which is a novel that she wrote before that one. And then finally, off of that priority read list, I do want to read Jacqueline Woodson's Red at the Bone. So this one is a middle grade or young adult novel, and I've never read any Jacqueline Woodson yet so far, I don't think, unless I've read a short story by her, which I might have. I don't read a lot of middle grade or young adult, so I think that this one would be a good one to prioritize for the end of the year. It's also a signed copy, so this will be a fun one to keep on my shelves if I enjoy it. Moving on to just the other books on my list, a book that was on my 24 and 24 list, which was all comprised of books that I had gotten prior to 2024 that I owned, is by Grand Central Station, I Sat Down and Wept by Elizabeth Smart. This is a super tiny little novella, and I would love to get to this one maybe even during Novella November. I recently read Nhi Vo's The Chosen and the Beautiful, and I really loved it. It's the second Nhi Vo that I have read, and it really gave me a hankering to read The Great Gatsby. And I also wanted to read Nick by Michael Ferris Smith. The Chosen and the Beautiful is a Great Gatsby retelling reimagining. I love The Great Gatsby. It's one of my all-time favorite novellas. It is by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and I have read it many, many, many times, probably dozens of times, but I haven't read it in quite a few years, so I think I would definitely love to reread this one and see like the parallels that maybe I might have missed while I was reading The Chosen and the Beautiful. And then a few years ago, I picked up Nick by Michael Ferris Smith, which is another retelling, reimagining of The Great Gatsby. I'm not sure if this is like a prequel or a sequel or takes place at the same time. I would like to read Nick after I read The Great Gatsby. So I'm counting these as like one book, but I think I'll probably read The Great Gatsby first. Another reread that I want to do on this list does also comprise of more than one book, and that is the Southern Reach trilogy by Jeff Vandermeer. So I've read all three of the first books, Annihilation, Authority, and Acceptance, since being on BookTube, and I love them. They totally blew my mind. I thought they were amazing. I think the series as a whole is amazing. And the fourth book is coming out, has already come out this year, so I'm super excited to get to that one. But I knew that I definitely needed to reread these books before reading the fourth one, so I wanted to put it on this end of year TBR. I'm in the middle of reading Authority. I've already read Annihilation since losing my original video to making this video, so I'm well on my way to completing this one off the end of the year TBR, but I'm counting it all as one book, partly because they all go together really well and I can't just read one for this list. I have to read all of them, but also partly because I'm rereading them all together. The first time I read them very separately. So I read one year and then two the following year, but about 6 months apart from each other then. Probably each book was about 6 months apart. I knew then that that was the right thing for me to do, but I also know now that reading them all together is the right thing to do for me. So I'm super excited to just blow through this book as like one big book. Already in the middle and very excited about it. The 11th book on this list is Dead Dead Girls by Nikisa Afia. This is a Harlem Renaissance set mystery novel, I believe, so I'm super excited to see that setting. I don't know if it has fantastical elements or not, but it kind of goes along with The Chosen and the Beautiful and The Great Gatsby in some ways, just that similar time period, and I do believe this also takes place in New York, although I think it takes place in Harlem and not Long Island. But I've been wanting to read this one for a while. I hear it's pretty graphic in its like depiction and language of violence, sexual content and stuff, so I'm interested to see what that's like. I've had this one for quite a while and I was super excited to get it when I first got it, but I haven't read it yet, so I think I should read it. I also think this would be perfect for Cloak and Dagger Christmas or Christie's Missing Readathon, because this does center around a mystery. And then the last book on this list is a very recently acquired book. I got this while I was in Ohio this year, and it is We the Animals by Justin Torres. So I believe this is a coming of age story. It's very short novella, perfect for Novella November. Justin Torres recently got a lot of acclaim for Blackouts, and I really was interested in that book, but I'm interested in his first novel as well, so I'm excited to get to it. So those are the 12 books that I want to read by the end of the year that are on my end of year TBR. I don't usually make TBRs, as you might know. I don't usually make book hauls either. So this is kind of a rare occurrence, but it's more of a pile of possibilities. Obviously, though, I've already started reading some of these, so maybe this pile of possibility will turn into a reality. Let me know if you have an end of year TBR or some idea of some books that you want to read by the end of the year. Let me know if you read any of the books that I mentioned here and if I should prioritize any of them. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!